Welcome to another session, and in today's video you're going to look at JSMA 004 Pre-Technical Studies. This is a subject that many students struggle with it. So if you struggle with pre-technical studies or you want a revision for preparation for your KGCE exam, then this is the right video for you. So without saying much, we're going to solve this paper step by step and question by question. To start with, we have a question here, question number 1, which reads, which of the following is not a hand tool used in woodworking? So they're asking which is not a hand tool, which is used in woodworking. Part A, we have tray square. Part B, sledgehammer. Part C, chisel. Part D, jack plane. So which one do you think is not a tool used in woodworking? If you don't know these tools, don't worry, because STEM Made Familiar not only gives you the correct answer, but ensures that you revise everything so that you can succeed in your exam. So I'm going to show you these tools. And then from there, we can know which tool is not used in woodworking. So here goes the tools. We have these tools. The first one is known as a tri-square. The function is used to check and mark right angles. Second one is known as a sledgehammer. A sledgehammer is a heavy-duty tool, as you can see. It is used in demolition or masonry work. This is what we call a chisel. A chisel is used to carve or cut wood. Then finally, here we have what we call a jack plane. A jack plane, we have two. This is used for smoothing and shaping wood surfaces. So from our question was asking which one is not a hand tool used in woodworking. So tri-square used in woodworking, whereby it can mark and check right angles. Chisel used in woodworking by carving wood. Jack plane used in woodworking by smoothing surfaces. And therefore, the one which is not a hand tool is a sledgehammer. A sledgehammer is used in demolition. And therefore, the correct option for question number 1 is B, sledgehammer. Let's continue to question number 2. Name the type of metal used to make the following item. So here we have an item, several items. So these items are wires. So which metal is used to make these wires? Is it A, copper, B, iron, C, bronze, D, aluminium? Which one do you think is used to make these wires? Let us see. To start with, it is not bronze. Bronze is very expensive, so you don't use bronze to make electrical wires. Part B is not iron, because iron is not resistant to corrosion. Then part D, not aluminium. Although aluminium is used in high voltage transmission, but not normally used in what we call household wiring. And therefore, the correct answer is A, copper wire, because copper is a very good conductor of electricity. And therefore, for number 2, the correct answer is A. Number 3. Poor storage of items on shelves may. So poor storage of items on shelves may A, cause rust, B, cause fire, C, attract dust, and D, fall and break. So which one, according to you, is the correct answer? Let us see. A, cause rust. That is incorrect. Rust is caused by exposure to moisture and oxygen, not poor storage. Cause fire, not true, unless it is a flammable substance. Attract dust, also not true, because dust accumulation is normal and not necessarily caused by poor storage. And therefore, the correct answer is D, which is falls and break. So poor storage can lead to falls and break. Let's continue to question number 4. Which of the following careers can be influenced by pre-technical studies? A, medical doctor, B, water, C, athletics, D, software engineer. Which one is a career in pre-technical studies? Part A, medical doctor. That is not true, because it is more influenced by subjects like biology and health sciences. Water, not true. Athletics, not true. It is not a career in technical studies. It is related to physical education, it is not technical studies. And therefore, the correct answer for question number 4 is software engineer, which is D. So pre-technical studies introduces learners to technology, design, and engineering, which one can become a software engineer. So the answer is D for question number 4. So let us continue on the other side. Question number 5. Which of the following best describes safety? So you underline the word safety to the workplace. Which one is best describes safety? A, working without prior training. B, exposing one to risky behavior. C, using PPE's valves. And D, ignoring safety precautions. So which one is the best? Let us see part A, working without prior training. This is unsafe. It is unsafe and therefore very unsafe. Exposing one to risky behavior. This can increase chances of accidents and therefore it is not the best. Ignoring safety precaution. This can lead to accident and injuries. And therefore the correct answer is C. It says using PPEs. PPEs stands for personal protective equipment. So using PPEs valves. And therefore for number 5, the answer is C. Let's go to 6. Which of the following is not considered a natural non-metallic material? So which one is not considered a natural non-metallic material? A, clay. B, sand. C, wool. D, iron. So which one, according to you, is not a natural non-metallic material? Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Is it D? So to start with, clay. Clay is a natural non-metallic material found in soil. Let us go to B. B is natural occurring non-metallic material. C, wool is also a natural non-metallic material from animals. And therefore, iron is not a non-metallic material. In fact, iron is a metallic material. And therefore, question number 6, the answer is D. Number 7, which of the following is not a safety precaution at workplace? So which one is not a safety precaution? A, wearing safety gear. B, using damage tools. C, following lead procedures. And D, working in a tidy environment. So which one is not a safety precaution? So to start with, wearing safety gear, it is very important for personal protection. Very important. Part C, following lead procedures ensures that tasks are done safely and correctly. And therefore, it is a safety precaution. Part D, working in a tidy environment, this ensures that there are no slips and falls. And therefore, that is a safety precaution. And therefore, the correct, which one is not a safety, it is using damage tools. So using damage tools is very dangerous because it can cause accidents. And therefore, the number 7, the answer is B. Let's continue to question number 8. Which is the most appropriate reason why stainless steel is widely used in manufacturing of kitchen appliances? So why is stainless steel widely used to manufacture kitchen appliances? Part A, it is lightweight. Part B, it is resistant to corrosion. Part C, it is a good conductor of electricity. Part D, it is magnetic. So which one do you think is the correct answer for this question? So to start with, it is lightweight. That is not true. Stainless steel is not the lightest. Aluminium is lighter. Part C, it is a good conductor of electricity. It is not the best compared to other like copper. Part D, it is magnetic. That is not true because not always true. Some stainless steels are magnetic. And therefore, the reason why it is widely used is because it is resistant to corrosion. When exposed to things like water, it cannot rust. And therefore, the correct answer is B. It is resistant to corrosion. So let us continue to question number 9. A kindergarten is planning to construct a playground. Which of the following non-metallic materials will make a safe and durable playground? Is it A, concrete, B, rubber, C, grass, D, clay? So to start with, concrete, it is hard and may cause injuries if children fall. Remember, talking about kindergarten, therefore these are small children. Concrete is very hard and may cause injuries when they fall. Part C, grass. Grass can become muddy and slippery and therefore not suitable, is not the best. Clay also becomes slippery when wet and hard when dry. Therefore, it is not suitable. Therefore, the one which is suitable is using rubber, which is part B. And the reason is because rubbers are soft and they act as shock absorbers. They absorb shock. And also rubbers are durable. And therefore, for number 9, the best metallic material to use is rubber. Continue to question number 10. Why is recycling plastic bottles considered as best practice in environmental sustainability? Part A is saying plastic is biodegradable. B, to reduce landfill waste and conserve resources. C, plastic bottles can be reused without processing. D, recycling plastic lowers cost of production. So which one is the best practice? To start with, part A, the option A, plastic is biodegradable. That is not true. Plastics is not biodegradable. It takes hundreds of years to decompose, and therefore it is not the best practice. That is not the best reason. Part C, plastic bottles can be reused without processing. That is not true. You have to process these plastics. Part D, recycling plastic lowers the cost of production. That is not true. And therefore, the correct option for this question is B, which says to reduce landfill waste and conserve resources. So that is considered as a best practice. So we continue to question number 11. Number 11, when assembling a car engine, which is the most appropriate tool commonly used to tighten bolts to a specific torque valve? So which one is the most appropriate tool to tighten a bolt to a specific torque valve? A, socket wrench, B, impact wrench, C, adjustable wrench, and D, screwdriver. So again, if you don't know these tools, don't worry. I'm going to show you the pictures. So this is what we call the socket wrench. This is what we call the impact wrench. This is the adjustable wrench. Then this is the screwdriver. You can see it is flat, so it is called screwdriver, which is flat head. So which one is used to tighten bolt to a specific torque valve? So from this diagram, let us go back to our question. So to start with, B, impact wrench, that one is not used. It is good for high torque, but it is not precise. Part C, adjustable wrench, that one is not ideal for torque specification. Screwdriver, used for screws and not bolts. And therefore, the ideal and the most appropriate tool is to use what we call a socket wrench. Let me show you again how a socket wrench looks like. So here is the socket wrench. So this is the most ideal tool to tighten a bolt to a specific torque valve. So to continue with question number 12. Which of the following tools is basically used for measuring? So you underline the word measuring and marking straight lines on wood during carpentry work. So which one is the most appropriate tool? A, is it hammers? B, screwdrivers? C, rollers and measuring tape? D, pliers? Which one do you think is the tool which is used for measuring and marking straight lines? So again, I'm going to show you the pictures. So here we have the hammer. This is what we call a hammer. This is what we call a screwdriver. This is what we call a tape measure or a measuring tape. This is a steel rule. Then finally we have a pliers. So from our question, it was asking the one that is used for measuring and marking straight lines. So hammers is not used to measure, used for driving nails into woods. Screwdrivers used for turning screws and therefore not used for measuring. Pliers is used for gripping or cutting and not measuring. And therefore the correct tool to use is rulers and measuring tape. And therefore for number 12, the correct option is C. Continue to question number 13. Which of the following tools is used for driving nails inside a wood? Is it a spanner, a hammer, a file, and a chisel? We have already covered these tools, apart from a file and a chisel. So I'm going to show you how a file looks like and also how a chisel looks like. So this is what we call a spanner. Spanner used for bolts and nuts, opening and closing bolts and nuts. This is what we call a chisel. Chisel is used for carving or cutting wood. This is what we call a file. A file used for smoothing edges. And then finally here we have a hammer. So back to our question. So which one is used to drive nails? A spanner, not true, used for bolts and nuts. File, not true, for smoothing surfaces. Chisel, not true, for carving or cutting. And therefore the one that is used for driving nails inside wood is what we call a hammer. Therefore for 13, the correct option is B. So we continue to question number 14. Which tool is best suited for cutting thin metals? So which tool is used to cut thin metals? Is it A, wood saw, B, hacksaw, C, plane, D, mallet? So which one is best suited for cutting thin metals? So again, if you don't know these tools, my work is to make sure that you know them and also understand their use. So I'm going to show the pictures of these tools. So this is what we call a jack plane. This is what we call a handsaw. Here we have the hacksaw. And finally, here we have a mallet. So the function of the wood saw is designed for cutting wood. You can hear from the word wood saw. So cutting wood. The function of the plane, the jack plane, used to smooth and it is used for smoothing wooden surfaces. Then the function of the mallet is used for striking tools like chisel. This is the hacksaw. You can see it is toothed at the one of these ends. It is toothed, and therefore hacksaw is designed to cut through thin metal. And therefore for this question, the one that is used for cutting thin metals is hacksaw. Number 14, the correct answer is B. Question number 15. What is the purpose of a vice in a workshop? To measure angles, not true. You can use things like protractors or a tri-square. Sharpen tools, we have already covered this. We use our file to sharpen tools. Drive screws, we use a screwdriver to drive screws. And therefore, the correct option is B, hold pieces securely. And therefore, that is the function of a vice. You don't know a vice, how it looks like. Let me show you a picture of a vice. So here we have the vice. You rotate this part, you place your wood or any material you want to hold it, and then you rotate this nut, this side, to tighten and hold it firmly. So this is what we call a vice. Let us continue to question number 16. If you are still following, please consider liking this video and subscribing to this channel so that this lesson can reach more learners. So if I'm helping you, also assist me in liking this video. So we'll continue to question number 16. When using powerful tools, which is the most important appropriate action to take? So you're using powerful tools, which is the most important action? Working quickly, that is not true. Not wearing safety glasses, it is unsafe, you can harm yourself. Using damaged equipment, this is very dangerous. And therefore, the most important action is wearing personal protective equipment, the PPEs. You ensure that all the time you wear them. Question number 17. Which of these tools is used for smoothing wooden surfaces? A. Wrench. B. Plane. C. Drill. D. Awl. Which one is used to smoothen wooden surfaces? You have already covered some of these tools. For example, a wrench, a plane also, a drill. So let us see these two, drill and awl, how they look like. So here is the picture of a drill. This is what you call a drill, used to make holes. Then this is what you call awl. The awl is here. This is what we call a wrench, adjustable wrench. So back to our question. So which of these tools is used for smoothing wood surfaces? Wrench is used for tightening bolts and therefore not to smoothen. A drill used to create holes. Awl used for making or marking starter holes. So the one which is used to smoothen wood surfaces is a plane, and therefore the correct option is B. Number 18. What is a drill used for in carpentry 2? A. Cut wood. B. Create holes. C. Tighten bolts. D. Measure distances. I've already said the function of the drill, if you can remember. Tell me what is the correct answer for question number 18. So I'm going to continue to question number 19. What is the purpose of our file? We've already covered our file and also the picture as used in technical studies. Thin pieces of metal, that is not true. Cut large pieces of wood, we use a wood saw. Tighten screws, you can use screwdriver. And therefore the function of our file, the purpose is to smoothen or shape metal or wood. Question number 20. Which of the following is a safety precaution when working in a workshop? A. Leaving tools scattered on the floor. B. Working in a properly lit area. C. Keeping the work area clean and organized. D. Wearing loose clothes. So leaving tools scattered on the floor, that is unsafe. And then wearing loose clothing, also unsafe. So we have B and C, working in a properly lit area, and C, keeping the work area clean and organized. So learners, which one is the correct option for question number 20? Please let me know which one between B and C, which one is the correct option. Please kindly comment, tell us which one is the correct option if you are following keenly. So we continue to question number 21. Which of the following is a handheld tool used to tighten nuts? Files, pliers, spanner, stroke wrench, chisel. Files is for smoothing, not tightening. Pliers for cutting and gripping, not tightening. Chisel for carving wood and cutting. And therefore, correct option is spanner, stroke wrench. It is used to tighten nuts. Number 22. Which of the following is the most suitable element in ensuring effective communication in the workplace? A. Loud speaking. B. Clear and concise instruction. C. Using complex jargon. D. Ignoring feedback. So which one is the most suitable element? Loud speaking is whereby you talk with a lot of making noise, speaking loudly. So it does not ensure clarity, it may cause discomfort. Using complex jargon, this can confuse people, using terms that people don't understand. Ignoring feedback breaks down communication. And therefore the most appropriate suitable element is to be clear and give concise instruction. So you continue to question number 23. In technical drawings, what is the main objective of using standardized symbols and abbreviation? So we know that this is grade 7 work, whereby we have abbreviations used in drawing. What is the purpose and the importance? Is it A, making drawings more artistic? B, confuse those who read them? C, ensure universal understanding? Save paper. So to save paper is not true. Confuse, the function of those abbreviations is not confuse people. Make the drawing more artistic, that is not correct. And therefore, the reason why we use abbreviation in drawing is to ensure universal understanding. This means that people can understand and interpret what the drawing means. Number 24. When making a presentation on technical project, which of the following visual aids will be the most effective for demonstrating the steps of a process? A. Long text document. B. A detailed photograph of tools. A detailed photograph of tools. C. A flowchart or step-by-step diagram. D. An abstract piece of art. So which one is the correct option? C. An abstract piece of art. This one has no technical communication value. Therefore, is not the answer. A detailed photograph. It shows tools but not processes. So remember, the question is talking about the process. So this one will show the pictures, but the process will not be there. A long text document. Most of us don't like to read. It is not visual and hard to follow. And therefore, the best to use is a flowchart or a step-by-step diagram. So for number 24, the answer is C. Number 25. Which of the following describes active listening during a technical discussion? Planning your response while someone else is speaking, that one is not the case. You can distract. It distracts your mind from listening. Avoiding eye contact to show respect, that is not even true, may seem disrespectful. But D, only hearing what you want to hear. Sometimes when you hear what you want to hear, it may lead to miscommunication and misunderstanding. And therefore, the correct option is C, that is you pay close attention and you ask clarifying questions. So we continue to question number 26. Hope you're following. Let me know that you're following by liking this video. Thank you so much for liking. Number 26, in a technical report, what is the main purpose of conclusion? To introduce new information. B, summarize the main findings and recommendation. C, provide relevant details. D, only give personal opinions. So to introduce new information, that is not the purpose of conclusion. To provide relevant details is not the purpose of a conclusion. Only give personal opinions, that is not true. And therefore, the reason is to summarize the main findings. We summarize the main findings and we give what we call recommendations. So we continue to question number 27. Which of the following is an example of a hybrid computer used in specialized application? A, fuel pump. B, smartphone. C, calculator. D, microcomputer. So to start with, smartphone is a digital computer and therefore not a hybrid. Calculator, also a digital computer, not a hybrid. Microcomputer is another name for personal computer. This is a digital computer. And therefore, the one which is a hybrid is a fuel pump machine. A fuel pump combines features of both analog and digital computers. What do I mean by this? It uses analog sensors to measure flow of fuel and digital systems to calculate price and quantity. And therefore, it is a hybrid. Another machine which is a hybrid computer, we have what we call a blood pressure machine. Another example of a hybrid computer. Question number 28. Learners were asked to find out the consequences of internet addiction. Which of the following reflects the outcome? A, improved memory retention. B, reduced ability to perform tasks. C, enhanced social interaction skills. D, increased time spent outdoors. So which one is the consequence? To start with, improved memory retention, that is incorrect. Enhanced social interaction skills, that is not true because most people are addicted to their phones. They don't interact well with others. Increased time spent outdoors, that is not true because when you are addicted to internet, you most of the time you are indoors watching and doing other things. So you don't spend time outdoors. Reduce ability to perform tasks. Yes, so this is the one the outcome, the consequences of internet addiction. Reduces your ability to perform tasks. You are there, TikTok, from morning to evening. You cannot perform any task. Even reading becomes a problem. Number 29, the Latin word, I don't know how to spell this. Is it computare or computer? I don't know. Means to A, compute, B, program, C, design, D, calculate. So computare from Latin means to calculate. So it came from Latin meaning calculate. Computers do calculate. Question number 30. Which ICT tool for communication is used for sending formal, so you underline the word formal, written communication in a business environment? So which one is used to send formal written communication? A, email, B, instant messaging, C, video calls, D, social media. So to start with, instant messaging is not formal. This is for casual or quick chats. This is not formal. Video calls for meetings. This is not a written. You can see it is saying formal written, and therefore video calls is not written communication. But this social media used for public engagement and not formal business communication. And therefore, the tool to be used is the email. Email is the standard tool for formal written communication. And therefore, for question number 30, the correct answer is A. If you are up to here, please consider liking this video. It really encourages me to make such videos and post more videos. I'm going to continue to section B. Section B is 50 marks. And therefore, kindly let us continue. Don't be tired. Listen, section B, to start with the first question, number 31. Give 4 general safety rules and regulations at the workplace. So give 4 safety rules and regulations at the workplace. So the first one is always wear protective clothing such as helmets and goggles to safeguard your body. Keep the workplace clean and free from obstacles or spills to prevent things like falling. Use tools and machines only for the intended purposes. Use the tools for their intended purposes and functions. Finally, ensure you know how to safely perform a task. We have so many safety rules, so these are mine. You can give any other as long as it is relating to safety and regulation. So you can see the marks are 4. I've given out 4 points. Question number 5. A carpenter uses saw for various purposes. List 3 uses of a saw. So we have different types of saw. We have a wood saw, hacksaw. So the saw can be used to cut wood into desired size and shapes for cutting, that is true. Trimming or resizing timber for construction or furniture making, yes. Then part C, the saw can be used to create joints or slots in carpentry work. So these are the 3 uses of a saw. We continue to question number 33. Give the meaning of the following abbreviations used in a drawing. You have I/D means inner diameter. So when you see I/D, it means inner diameter. We have DRG. DRG means drawing. We have A/C. This means across corners. And lastly, part D, we have OLD. O to stand for outside, L length, and D diameter. So OLD means outside length diameter. Question number 34. Identify 4 factors to consider when selecting a communication channel. So this is a very common question. So which are the factors to consider when choosing a channel of communication? So A can be the nature of the message. Is it confidential? Is it formal or informal? Part B, the cost of the communication channel. That is it cheap or expensive? So that is a factor. Part C, number of people receiving the message. When you want to send to many people, you consider the channel to use, or if you want to send a message to one person. So this is a factor, the number of people receiving the message. Also, the need for immediate feedback, the time for immediate feedback. For example, if it is urgent, you can use for example, a phone call instead of sending something like an email or a poster. So need for immediate feedback. So we continue to question number 35. State 3 injuries caused by fire at workplace. So what are the injuries caused by fire? We have A, it can cause burns, that is the burn of the skin. Smoke choking due to inhaling poisonous fumes. You also have cuts or bruises from trying to escape. This is secondary injury. So when you escape, you can be cut or have bruises. You also have another cause, another injury, which is chemical poisoning. So you can add that one, chemical poisoning. This is whereby you inhale poisonous fumes. So that is another injury caused by fire at workplace. You can see it is 3 marks. I've given 3 points. There was a fire breakout in your neighborhood. State 3 firefighting methods that can be used to put out the fire. So we have different firefighting methods. For example, cooling method. This is by using water to reduce the temperatures. Smothering method. This involves cutting off the oxygen supply. This can be done by using a blanket to cut off oxygen supply. And then you have starving method. This involves removing the fuel from the source of heat. So these are the firefighting methods. We have another one which is using fire extinguishers, is also a firefighting method. We also have another one called interruption method. So we have so many methods. So you state, that's the question is saying state. Therefore, you just state, but you can also explain this good if you know. Question number 37. State 4 differences between a talent and ability. Differences between talent and ability. This is a grade 9 work. Talent is inborn, that is God-given. It is a natural gift, while ability is acquired through learning or training. But the next point, possessed by few people. Yes, that is very true. Talent is possessed by very few people, while on the other side, ability, many people can possess it through learning. Then part C, may not require much effort to show. Yes. And for ability, requires practice and repetition. Once you don't practice, then it is gone. Therefore, you have to practice and repeat it until you master. Then for talent, it is difficult to teach. You cannot teach it, or you cannot transfer it to another person. But for ability, it can be taught or developed in others. So these are the differences. We have so many differences. So because the question is 4 marks, I've given out my 4 points. Question number 38 is asking, list 3 security features of Kenyan denomination below. It is not very clear, but this is 1,000 Kenyan shillings. So which are the key security features? You have a watermark. That is the head, the lion's head. You have security thread, this one here, though it is not clear, which is lining across the knot. Also, it changes color. Which other security feature do you know? So for part C, I'm asking you to tell me which other security feature in 1,000 shillings do you know? So please tell me which other security feature do you know? Let us continue to question number 39. Hope you're following. Differentiate between private goods and public goods, and you give examples. So you explain with examples. So what are private goods? These are goods that are owned and consumed by individuals. And then further can say one person's use prevents another from using them. So that's what we mean by private goods. For example, a private car, private houses, a smartphone. So when you use it, no any other person can use it. That's what we mean by private goods, are owned and consumed by individuals. The other side, public goods are goods that are available for everyone to use. So one person's use does not reduce availability to others. Example is public roads, so public parks, public transportation system. When you use it, does not reduce availability to be used by others. That is how you differentiate. And when you are told to give examples, please list example. I've said the example here, private schools, private homes, private cars, and etc. For public goods, you have public parks, public roads, and so on. Question number 40. Differentiate between needs and wants as used in business studies. So you differentiate. So needs are basic requirement for human survival, such as food, shelter, and clothing, while wants are desires or items that are not essential, but they add comfort or luxury. Example is a car or a smartphone. That is the difference between what we call a need and a want. So a need is very essential for survival, whereby a want just is for adding comfort and luxury. Question number 41. Explain 3 characteristics of a good entrepreneur. That is, if you're told to explain, you have to explain. Don't state. Just state and on the other side, explain. So a good entrepreneur should be innovative. What do we mean by innovative? He or she is able to create new ideas and improve existing products or services. Part B, risk taker. In this life, you have to take risks. So a good entrepreneur is willing to take financial or business risks to achieve success. And then part C, self-motivated. This means he or she works hard and stays determined even in difficult situations. So he or she is self-motivated. So those are the 3 characteristics of a good entrepreneur. We have so many. Question number 42. Describe one type of business transaction in Kenya. Describe, so you explain. You have what we call cash transaction. This is when goods or services are paid for immediately using cash or mobile money like M-Pesa. So you board a matatu, you pay using Lipa na M-Pesa. That's what we call a business transaction, cash transaction. Also have another one called credit transaction, whereby you take things and then you pay in form of loans. So it is asking one type. So I've stated that type, which is cash transaction. Question number 43. Explain the following terms as used in computer science. What is data? Data are raw facts or figures that have not yet been processed and are not meaningful to the user. So that is what we mean by data. Example are numbers, text, or symbols. These are raw facts which are not processed. They are not meaningful to the user. What is data processing? Data processing is the act of converting raw data into meaningful information through steps like input, processing, and output. So that is what we mean by data processing. What is programming? Programming is the process of creating a set of instructions, we call them codes, that a computer can follow to perform a task. So that's what we call programming, creating sets of instructions or codes which a computer can follow to perform a task. So let us continue to question number 44. Hope you are enjoying this lesson. Don't be tired. Don't forget to like this video. This motivates me and I see you liking the video. Question number 44. State one role of visual programming in ICT. So we have taught you visual programming by using Scratch. This is grade 9 work, visual programming. Even in grade 8 it is there, Scratch programming. So what is the role? The role of visual programming is it helps users to create programs using graphical elements like blocks or icons, making coding easier and more interactive, especially for beginners. So visual programming is used to teach beginners or learners by using elements like blocks so that they can understand programming better. So it helps people to create programs. So that is the role of visual programming in ICT. Question number 45. A computer expert was invited at your workplace to discuss ways of reducing physical threats to digital devices. List down 2 possible threats he gave. So we're talking about physical threats. So one, we have theft, stealing of computers, laptops, or storage devices. That is a physical threat. We have fire or water damage. That is also another physical threat. We have another one which we call hardware failure. is another physical threat. We have things like fluids, is another physical threat. Impact or falls, these are physical threats to digital devices. So since the question is 2 marks, I've given and I've explained those physical threats. Question number 46. List down the 4 categories of computer hardware devices. So computer hardware, these are the physical parts that makes up the computer system. So we call them computer hardware. So we have input devices used to enter data. For example, we have keying devices like a keyboard. We have output devices used to display or produce results. For example, we have a monitor to display and then printer for printing. We have processing devices. Example is a CPU. Devices that process data. So we have CPU. Then finally, we have storage devices. These are devices that stores data. For example, we have hard drive. Then we have SSD, means solid state drive. USB flash drive, that is universal series bus flash drive. So these are some of the categories of computer hardware. This is grade 7 work. So we continued question 47. We're almost done. What is the main source of computer malware and viruses? What are the main sources of viruses? Main source is from the internet, especially from downloading files, visiting unsafe websites, and opening email attachment that may contain these viruses. So that is the main source of computer virus, from the internet. So you open things you don't know, download files you don't know, then you end up getting malware and virus. Distinguish between, question number 48, RAM and ROM. RAM means random access memory, and ROM means read-only memory. What is the difference? You distinguish. RAM is a temporary memory used to store data and programs while the computer is on. So sometimes we say RAM is volatile. This means it stores data when the computer is on. Once the computer is switched off, the data is lost. What is ROM? ROM is a permanent memory that stores essential programs like the system's firmware and BIOS. So ROM is a permanent memory that stores programs like the system's firmware and BIOS. So when the power is off, it is permanent. It loses nothing. Data is not lost. So we say it is non-volatile. For RAM, it is volatile. So it is a temporary memory. So that is how you distinguish between RAM and ROM. It's a very common question. Please master this question because I've seen it in JSMA, Targeter, even in campus exams. So master the difference between RAM and ROM. 49. What is a cloud storage? Cloud storage is a type of online storage service that allows users to store data online through the internet. So that's what you mean by cloud storage. For example, phones like Huawei, they have what you call Huawei Cloud. This is an online storage where you can store data through the internet. So that is what we mean by a cloud storage. So it is an online storage service that allows you, the user, to store data online through the internet. Then finally, name the technology used in making the second generation of computers. So the technology used, they use what we call transistors. So they used transistors which are small compared to the one that is used in the first generation of computers. So that is it for this paper. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also tell us which paper you want us to do next, and I will do it. See you in the next video. Best wishes.